short to be a stormtrooper?
Huh? Welcome back, everybody, to another happy landing. By the time this comes out, I've already explained on other videos why my background's different, so go watch those instead of me having to explain it again. Thank you to the Movie Meal patrons, Steve, Kimberly, and Karen, for supporting the channel. We're here for the review of Season 2 of Clone Wars. I was saying to Tanner before we went live, I don't think this will be necessarily a super long episode because we didn't talk a whole long time on the Season 1. But we finished Season 2, doing a week. How are you with the book? You're not done with the book, I assume, are you?
I'm almost done with it. I think I've got 3 hours left.
All right, yeah, we'll talk about that then next week.
Yeah, next week will be book discussion for sure.
Cool. Yeah, and if this one's a little shorter, it's a little shorter. Take a little shorter time's not a bad thing. But let's just get into it then. So Tanner, what did you think of Season 2?
It's so much better than
It
Season
is.
1. Holy crap.
Yeah.
The jump of quality, not only like just everything across the board, music, animation, voice acting, all of it. I probably have to give this season about an 8 out of 10. I absolutely adore Season 2. It might, remembering it, out of all the good episodes on it, it might actually be my favorite season of Clone Wars. Weirdly enough, it has like one of my favorite episodes out of like a handful of like 5 in the Clone Wars series are on there, but I just think it is the most solid hitter out of all of the seasons.
Sure.
There are some arcs that are better, but man, it's just so good, man.
Yeah, it definitely is a leap. Even the animation overall, I mean, there were episodes that were outsourced for Season 1. I mean, they clearly had to be outsourced, but the animation, you can tell that the ratings were good enough and Cartoon Network gave them a bigger budget.
Right.
Or WB for that matter, because I believe WB, Warner Brothers, owns Cartoon Network. But the budget went up significantly. I really enjoyed it. I like that we jumped right back in with Cad Bane because you introduce him at the end of one season and to jump right back into him is really good because he's such a cool bounty hunter. And I love the voice, whoever the voice actor is for him. I think it's just great. And to be honest, I mean, the Holocron heist was one of my favorite episodes of this whole season because it was just so much fun. You start to actually get some like Star Wars lore, like you get to learn about holocrons.
Right.
Because this is the first introduction of them, technically, correct?
In terms of major films, yeah, because holocrons were introduced in EU way back when, but
yeah,
I believe this is the first time that we ever actually see holocrons
puts them into official canon.
Right.
Sure. But I mean, like, I'm just looking through the episode list right now. Like, I enjoyed Children of the Force episode a lot. The Brain Invaders was kind of fun. It was a little different, but
yeah, I like that one. It
was fun.
Also, not to mention, I mean, the whole Geonosis arc as a whole. Senate Spy, I thought was okay. Episode number 4. That was the one with Padme and what's his nuts? Works with the banking clan.
Yeah.
He's going off to join the Separatists, and well, she comes along, she gets poisoned, and then there's a whole plot that I thought that one was pretty good. It was nice to actually see a decent Padme arc. On this one,
because Season 1 doesn't do Padme justice.
No, not at all.
Unlike the amazing books. I really loved the Lightsaber Lost episode with Ahsoka. I ended up really liking it. I thought it was not only fun, and yes, the other Jedi is kind of like a little bit of a Yoda knockoff, but it actually really works. And when they meet at the end and they both kind of give that old man look, you know, that one day Tanner and I will look at each other with that old man look. But
Master Sanube. I was going to totally bring that up. I'm so happy you brought that up because Lightsaber Lost is probably upon rewatch is probably one of my favorite episodes of this whole season. Maybe great. I'm just like a sucker for like older characters or just old men in these the wise old man in these. it just works so well. And like the, teaching of the patience and the hare versus the tortoise kind of a analogy.
Yeah.
It just worked so well for me.
And patience is just so important to what a Jedi's all about. And he even talks about it. I mean, this is some of the stuff when I'm coaching that I tell high schoolers now, where it's like, you need to breathe, you need to rest. That even though, but like just taking that 1 second. I mean, there's a line in there where he kind of talks about if you like just take a moment, that alone is enough time for you to kind of get your bearings. And it's so much of what the Jedi are about compared to the Sith. And I really enjoyed that episode. It was a highlight for me out of all the other, really of the season. It might be one of my top 3, but I think the real meat, and I wonder if you agree with this, but I think the meat of this entire season is the Mandalore stuff, all the stuff on Mandalore.
For me, I would agree with that one. I love the Geonosis invasion again. Like the second time of taking Geonosis and like the actual battles that are happening on top, and destroying of the factory. The only reason that I don't think that would be like my favorite arc of that one is once they get into the underground tunnel stuff. It's good. It's just not like, it doesn't blow me away, I guess.
Sure.
But man, once you get to the Mandalore arc, man. Duchess Satine and the Obi-Wan like back and forth. Oh man, I'm really curious as to what your thoughts were on it.
Honestly, my favorite parts of the whole thing with the Mandalore is the very first episode with them. The Mandalore Plot is the title of it, when they first meet, because all of a sudden you're getting a different Obi-Wan, and it sums a lot up. It sums a lot up about, you can tell in that one episode. I mean, you do throughout the thing, but you can tell in that one episode that Obi-Wan had the same thoughts Anakin's having right now, that it's something probably most Jedi go through, no matter what species or race they are, or gender. And that he does have a deep love for them. And it felt, they kind of play the married couple like argue thing quite a bit. Like, this didn't work because they were arguing too much. But I actually think that George and Dave play it even more subtle than that. I think that is leftover feeling from the fact that Obi-Wan did not go with her, that they chose not to be together. I think it's less of like they didn't work because they wouldn't work. It's more of they have resentment because they wish they were together still. And right. I think that really works. And some of the stuff with Anakin, where Anakin kind of gives him the side eye and is like, hey, like, that's your girlfriend. Like, you're like, he's acting the exact same way we watched Anakin act for a season and a half or a couple movies and a half. Right. And it was nice to see that. And I think it not only fleshes out Obi-Wan, but it fleshes out Anakin. It brings more to the Mandalore lore. And it's fun watching this after coming right off of The Mandalorian. And then eventually we'll rewatch it, but having that just more fresh in my head for the shows so far. But yeah. No, I loved the stuff, especially when they got to the ship, when they were on the ship and Anakin was like dealing with R2 down below and Obi-Wan was up top. And like, I loved the moment where he held like the little robot spider or whatever up, like, and he's just like, well, we can do it. Like, he was just playing bad cop. And it was cool to see. It was cool to see that Obi-Wan as him being my favorite character in Star Wars. I really liked it. So, what are you thinking over there?
Oh man, I'm trying to actually, as I'm looking through the list, I'm trying to remember exactly what happened in Duchess of Mandalore. That's the third episode of the Mandalore arc in season 2.
That's where she's framed. Remember, she gets framed for the creation of the Death Watch.
Oh gosh, I'm actually totally spacing out that one. I might need to
clearly not memorable.
Wow. Or I would have been, maybe I was doing something else. I actually really liked as a episode 16, Cat and Mouse. It's just a single like one banger episode, but I mean we get to see Admiral Trench throughout most of the series.
Yeah.
But just like I guess I'm just a sucker for like space combat, and the tactics and so on that go with this one. And it almost had a kind of like a cat and mouse. Well, actually, it's called Cat and Mouse. of like hunter versus hunted, and who is the hunted and who is the hunter, of
Yeah.
like them it's almost like they're sitting inside of a submarine with their stealth tech as they're trying to like feel each other out in the episode, and I really enjoy that.
What did you
um
think of the deserter episode?
Honestly,
With
love it.
I really liked it. I completely forgot about that episode. I mean, it has been a long time since I've watched Clone Wars, so a lot of the major events I remember, but the fact that there was like a clone who bailed and like you there are some questions like did he get the chip removed? Because I don't remember anything talking about that, but I really enjoyed it and I loved it fleshed out Rex because
Yeah.
Rex is such a great character that it was a fun episode. This season where season one failed, it had a lot of episodes that weren't necessarily because both seasons do like a 3 episode plot. They'll do like 3 episodes that are all around the same thing, and then they'll take a break for a couple and then come back to it. And where season one really failed in its in between episodes, these I almost loved more than the episodes that were more of an arc of a story for like the Mandalorian stuff. And
Right.
the season is just very good. It was just really good. I just really liked it.
Yeah. Over again, some, maybe like none of these episodes are going to be in my top 5, maybe except for maybe one. But
I don't even know if I have a top 5
just
by now.
it's the difference of like the difference of this one watching through. There was multiple episodes that felt like roadblocks in season 1 where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, we got to get through this, son of a gun. Meanwhile, this has always been the season for Clone Wars that drew me like just hook, line, and sinker. I was drawn into
A
this
lot
one.
less
It's so
like
good.
very kid stuff. Like
Yes.
season one has a lot of definite kid stuff. This is a little bit different. But I'm curious, what do you think of the Death Trap episode 20, with our young bounty hunter boy who's out for revenge? What did you think of that?
Back and forth on that one, to be entirely honest.
I'm in the same boat.
I love the character moments that we get with Boba Fett and like his just want and destruction of Mace Windu. I think it's great and it's building up, and also it makes sense. I mean, he watched this man kill his father in front of his eyes. I mean, how else do you think that he's going to react?
Yeah.
Also, it also that whole arc, it helps really flesh out Boba Fett, of like he really is kind of struggling, of is trying to find out what is the right thing to do. Everyone else is telling him to commit these heinous acts, but he doesn't really want to do it because that one line of I forget the admiral's name, of like, you're a good soldier, like this isn't you. You don't have to do this. I really like that. But I'm just annoyed that it takes a kid with a blaster to take down an entire like cruiser.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing.
Yeah, watching it made me kind of sit back and go, because I am excited for Book of Boba Fett, but part of it made me think, man, I wonder if the best Boba Fett story is him as like in his 20s and he's been like had the revenge the whole time. You know, I wonder if Boba Fett's arc works. So, and I think and I'm with you. I kind of go back and forth with this episode, but he's so young where it's like a little bit comical, especially now. I mean, I get as if you're a 6-year-old watching this, it probably plays a bit differently, but like if you give me if they announced that they were giving me a live action show about a young Boba Fett at this time hunting Jedi because he's seeking revenge, that sounds very intriguing to me. I think of like a movie like it was called like The Assassin with Dylan O'Brien and had Michael Keaton in it, and his girlfriend died and he was trained to become an assassin for like 5 years. I think of those type of movies that I think can be really fun, that could have been cool with Boba Fett. But then again, that also goes against a bit of his I'm just trying to make my way through the galaxy, and I am excited for the Book of Boba Fett because I think that'll have some cool parts to it. But I'm with you. I think that episode was lukewarm. I didn't think this season necessarily ended as weirdly enough. Because I don't love the way season 1 ended, but I liked Cad Bane enough and I liked the cliffhanger enough. But then this season, I kind of thought that maybe the last episode, Lethal Trackdown, wasn't necessarily a highlight, and the R2 Come Home wasn't a highlight the last few episodes, but it's hard to come back after the Mandalore arc.
Right.
But what do you think?
No, I'm in complete agreement with you that I feel as though the ending of this season was a little bit rougher. I do think that Aura Singh is a good and fun character to introduce. Also, not to mention, like, again,
Yeah.
I'm such a big fan of Hondo as a character that I'm just stoked anytime that he winds up on screen. But
Fair enough.
one that I'm very very curious about this one, especially given around the current movie climate, Zillo Beast. What were your thoughts on the Zillo Beast arc?
I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
For me, the Mandalore arc took so much of my love for this season. But I enjoyed it. I thought it
And here I thought, being the big monster movie guy that you're going to be
I
like,
do
oh,
love
the
big
Zillo
monsters.
Beast.
I do love big monsters, and I did like the design of the Zillo Beast. I thought it was cool, and it was an interesting um but I don't know, like, give me 2 hours of a monster destroying things and them trying to figure it out. But when Anakin just quickly is like, "Oh, I noticed the issues in his armor here, and here when I was near him," like, it was just too quick for me. But I liked the episode. It was good. It just wasn't wasn't
top
elite.
tier.
But I appreciate the horror that George and Dave are trying to do, because you can scare kids. I mean, a show like Courage the Cowardly Dog proves that kids like to be a little freaked out.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, I teach 6-year-olds and I show them Avatar: The Last Airbender, and there are some episodes that sometimes I'm like, I wonder if they can handle this. Like, this episode's a little creepier, and some of the kids will say, "Oh, this is a little scary," and then I'll be like, "Well, should we turn it off?" And they're like, "No, don't turn it off." I'm like, all right. So I kids like to be scared. So I think, as long as it's not crazy horror, but I think that's what the Zillo Beast episodes were going for. It was like, let's spook them a little bit. Let's give them a big monster and spook them a bit.
In along those regards, though, too, like Legacy of Terror and Brain Invaders, I also think actually dip into that realm as well.
The Brain Invaders, I mean, is basically an homage to Alien.
Yeah,
like, it really is, and it's kind of fun. It's a fun little episode.
Yeah,
these episodes were a lot more fun.
Yes, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess just overall thoughts of like what oh my gosh, no, I totally remember Duchess of Mandalore now. I there was just a couple of shots that I just completely reminded me of what that was. Bounty Hunters, I guess episode 17. I was also very lukewarm on that one.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the whole. It's very tried and true.
It's a very similar plot to episode 3 of the season 1 of Mandalorian. It's we show up, these people are being, it's the Magnificent Seven storyline is what it really is. And it's all right in the cartoon form for the kids, but in this form, I thought it was just kind of okay. Right. Like I was sitting there thinking, like, man, I'd rather just go watch the Mandalorian episode of this. Like,
I'm really curious of now that I mean, with all of season 2, is there any particular season or any particular episodes in the Clone Wars right now that you're looking forward to?
I don't know about episodes because it's just been so long, but I know that Darth Maul has like, I remember his arc, and like, I'm pumped for that. Like, that's what I'm pumped to rewatch, and I think that really starts in season 4, doesn't it? It really gets going in season 4 or 3. I thought it was 4, but was a lot of Maul.
Yeah, I think 4. Yeah, he gets introduced in. I think it is. Yep, he gets introduced in season 4 because Brothers and then Revenge.
Yeah, and that is what I'm really excited about, because I just love his arc in Rebels so much that to see him in Clone Wars because I remember loving his arc, and it was one of the only reasons I kept watching when I was younger. But Maul is just awesome. Like, I think if I remember correctly, I had dipped off of the show as a kid, and then somebody told me Darth Maul shows up, and so I immediately went and like put it on record and like caught up, and I wanted to see what that was all about, because it's just that's what I'm really the most excited for, because I don't remember any episodes. But do you have specific episodes you're looking forward
Oh,
to?
I've got a whole slew of them.
I mean, they have the Mandalorian War as well, right?
Yes, they do. Wait, man.
Or the Purge of Mandalore. I thought they do that in Clone Wars. Am I misremembering?
No, the Purge. The Purge isn't in Clone Wars. But I mean, they have the Siege of Mandalore at the end.
Siege of Mandalore is just what I'm thinking
Yes.
of.
So, I mean, I guess, I've got a bunch, but like, actually, now that I think of it, I still really love season 2, but I've totally spaced out that season 3 has actually got a handful of my favorite episodes. ARC Troopers is one of my favorite episodes, in the
Yeah.
series. Again, we start to. That's where I'm not a huge fan of Clone Cadets, but like once it with ARC Troopers, we get a lot more of Echo and Fives. We
Yeah.
just get them fleshed out way more. But also, dude, any of the Dathomir storylines, I'm so there
Yeah.
for.
I am excited too for I think it's the end of season 5 before they really knew, but the episode where Ahsoka does leave the Order, I haven't seen in so long, and I'm very excited to see that because of just how much I thought they did her justice in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And I don't fully remember how the story handles itself after she leaves. Like, I don't really remember many of the episodes in between until just the newest season that I watched, the finale. So I'm very interested to give those a rewatch more than anything else outside of maybe Maul. But
Obviously, I mean, you can't. The pinnacle of the entire Clone Wars is the ending for me.
Yeah, I mean the ending was
Dude,
so good.
it's like sitting down. What is it? It's the last 4 episodes that basically turns this whole thing into a movie. And
Yeah,
if I was to just take those last 4 episodes and put them as a movie, I mean, oh my god, it might actually give something. I might. It might be my favorite one, just below, like the original trilogy. Maybe,
wow.
maybe.
Yeah, no, I think that's the way we got to watch it. You just got to, I think I'll block out the last 4 episodes or so and just say, hey, this is going to be in a big chunk and we're just going to sit down and watch this like a movie. I think that's the way you have to do it, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
yeah, no,
Also the
it's
Yoda
just
arc.
that good.
Um,
Yeah.
what is it? Voices, Destiny, and Sacrifice.
Yeah, it's
Man,
pretty late in the series, but the Voices episode anyway, but I'm start getting me into some of the lore of Star Wars and some of the history and the Force, and that's
right.
what I want.
Oh,
That
I
sounds
am so
amazing.
there. What would you rate season 2 though? On a scale of 1 to 10.
So if I was going to rate season 1, I'd probably have given it like a 6.5, I think is what we talked about. I think you said 6.57. Am I wrong on that?
I said
Remembering?
6.5. You're correct.
Yeah, I think I said 6-ish, between maybe 6.5, but I'd give this a 7. I really enjoy this, but I'm only going to go 7 until I watch the rest because it has been so long for me that I
Yeah.
need to give it a fair rewatch. But if I end up being like, man, season 2 really sticks out more than anything else, I'll bump that up. But right now I'd probably put it at a 7. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. And there's a lot of fun episodes and cool arcs that I like, and I'm just more Obi-Wan. Such an Obi-Wan stickler. I just want more Obi-Wan.
Daddy,
What would you rate it?
Daddy One Kenobi.
Yep.
Okay. Objectively, 7. Star Wars fan, 8. So
Sure.
just how much I enjoyed it and was. You can always tell how good of a TV show it is if it's the whole like, oh, maybe just one more episode. Well, maybe just one more episode after that. And that's when it really kicked off for me. It's just a fun romp through the Star Wars universe. And
It is.
like, as a fan, I'm like, man, I'm so here for this. Like, but again, objectively, yeah, I have to sit there and be like, good. Like, it is overall good. But I mean, we're talking about, I'd say it probably has like a 75% hit ratio.
Yeah.
But
Your point I really liked though, because I think season 1 there were times I was sitting there because I'm currently rewatching. Well, it's been really put on the back burner now, but been also rewatching like My Hero Academia, or we're in a movie club together. So the movies of the week, or just anything else I've been curious watching, docuseries, things like that. In season 1, there were days I got home and it was like, I know I need to watch Clone Wars. It's like, man, I really would rather watch something else because I just knew what season 1 was. And this episode or this season started getting me to be like I didn't even have that thought. It was just like, oh, I want to get on and watch Clone Wars. Like that was just the show I'm watching. And you sit there and there are a couple episodes where you're like, man, I'd like to watch one more, maybe 2 more. And I think it shows in the quality and it shows in the storytelling. And just that they're getting. I really think the money is a big thing. I think the Cartoon Network gave them a bigger budget and it allowed for George to do more. And maybe he pandered to kids in the first season, and that was the hope, was just to get enough viewers for a second. But yeah, it was great. Season 2 was awesome.
I mean, to be honest, all you really need to do is just slap Star Wars on there, and there'll just be plenty of kids. Like, and get them young enough, they'll watch it and be like, "Oh my god, this is so awesome!"
Yeah,
and that will be the thing that moves it. Because I mean, there's been points and times in Star Wars history where owning the Star Wars license is like owning a license to print money.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's treated as thus, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I'm really excited to continue the watch through on this one.
Me too.
Oh my gosh, I had another question that I totally meant to bring up to you, but it's gone. It's gone, Al. No more.
It's all right. I think we've said enough, and this is a shorter episode, and that's all right for these seasons. I think it was kind of expected that they were going to be a bit shorter. For us as the Star Wars nerds, it's shorter. For Movie Meals content, this is a much longer form video. So I think we're at around the 30-minute mark. So I think that's not a bad spot to end it. Season 2 was much better, and a big improvement off season 1. So I'd be curious to know, anybody listening, what your thoughts of this season are, and what your thoughts on the show are so far, things like that. What just maybe your history with Star Wars. Tanner, you got anything you want to send off with, or?
I think you said it all there, Boo Bear.
Yep. All right. Well, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you again to our patrons. Go be a member of the Movie Meal Patron down below. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Yeah, and for another happy landing, we are out of here.
Another happy landing.
Another